Thank you for joining me. I'm not sure how many people will actually join us today, but those that you are here, I thank you so much. I see Lucy and Riza and Martini Fishful. Thank you so much. I just wanted, hello, Line. Nice to see you too. Hi, Lucy. It's so good to be back. And I want to apologize. I am so sorry. Oh, thank you, Risa, for saying that. I'm so sorry I have not been available. Hello, Louise. A lot has happened. This COVID virus did finally affect my employment. And so I had to gather myself and find a new job and get all acclimated to that. So it took all of my attention to be able to reestablish myself so that I would be able to, like you all, we have responsibilities, and it was stressful, and I'm very fortunate. I found a job that I love. I'm still doing mental health therapy. I'm a therapist, and it's really good that I've been able to get things back to normal somewhat. And so this was the first time I actually could focus back on you and my subscribers and be able to be here to do a video. So hopefully things will progress smoothly and I won't have any more life-changing events that require my attention. So I see some of you are commenting in the chat. Scout Inquirer, nice to see you too. I missed all of you, and I am so sorry that I dropped off the radar the way it happened. But when things really, when things like that happen, it's like, all of a sudden you have to readjust everything. And so it turned out wonderful. I mean, I was, it took about a month to get reestablished in a new position. And I started working at my new position in middle of July. And now I feel very comfortable there. A lot of my patients that I used to see at my other job found me. And so I'm seeing them again, which makes me very happy because I was so afraid that they would feel as if they didn't have their therapist anymore. So that's worked out great. Hi, Missy Q. Nice to see you as well. Hi, High Priestess, Tarot 615. Thank you, Risa. That's so sweet. None of us are without challenges, and we've all been affected in one way or the other by this pandemic. And hello, Lucy. And, we just gotta dust ourselves off and keep moving forward. I mean, that's all we can do. So thank you all for being here. It means so much to me. I was so afraid that you would be upset with me. But honestly, I couldn't even post on my community page because I was so single focused on putting the pieces back together that I had nothing left for anything else. But it's okay now. Everything's good. I've missed you all. And we're going to get back to normal and keep moving forward and do what we do. So today we are going, oh, thank you, Martini Fishful. Thank you for that. I actually, in all my stress over, having to find another job and get all established, I actually did worry about you all, and I thought about you, and I didn't want you to feel upset that I wasn't here. And so it really matters, and I'm happy that you're here, and you have no idea what it means to me and how much you all mean to me. And so thank you for that. Thank you so much. Hi, Line. I didn't say hi to you either. And I agree with Risa. Everyone should be vaccinated. Please, please, please get vaccinated. It's very important. I don't want any of you to get sick. And so I'm praying that you all take that seriously. And please, I got vaccinated. I got the Pfizer vaccine. I had minimal side effects from it. And so, and if there's a booster that I need to get, I'm going to get it. It's just, it's part of our responsibility as humans to try to get this thing handled. And Scout Inquirer, I do feel the love and the appreciation. And I'm just humbled that you're here, that you're all here. And I thank you very, very, very much. Thank you, Lucy. Yes, life sure does happen. And I honestly didn't, I was floored that the way things went, transpired. But I collected myself really quickly, and I got to the business of fixing the problem. And that's what we try to do. Good, Risa. I'm glad you're getting your next shot. The Delta variant is very contagious. And then there's the Lambda variant as well, as if we didn't need one more thing. So please take it seriously. I don't want any of you to get sick. And we're going to ride this out together. So today, yeah, Risa, I have missed all of the drama on YouTube. I haven't watched any of it, and I'm kind of glad. Hello, Mel Mac. Thank you for joining us. I missed you too, and I'm so glad you're here. So I'm sure there was lots of drama, though. I can see in my notifications some of the drama. It's like, oh my God. But this is a safe place. We haven't had any drama, thank God, on my channel. And so we're going to have a nice discussion. And then, as always, if you have any questions at the end, I'm going to go back through the comments and I'm going to answer any questions that you may have, okay? So we're going to talk about relationships with narcissists and how to survive one. And so we'll talk about that. While I'm talking, I'm not looking at chat, so don't worry, post your questions if you have any, and I'll go back through and we'll answer the questions, okay? So, as we all know, people throw around the term narcissist and label people that they know possibly as a narcissist, whether it's someone you're in a relationship with or a boss or a friend. But not all self-obsessed people are narcissists. And a true narcissist has to be diagnosed by a mental health professional like me. And we diagnose them with narcissistic personality disorder. And narcissists fall on a spectrum. You may have heard the terms lesser narcissist and greater narcissist. So depending on where they fall on the spectrum, if they're on the greater end of the spectrum, it's pretty safe to say that they're more likely to become dangerous and sinister and manipulative. And the lesser narcissists are not as dangerous. So the first thing we want to do is to investigate whether or not you're in a relationship with a narcissist. So I'm going to go through like a checklist, and if you follow along, you can kind of keep score to see if the person that you have in mind has these characteristics. So the first thing is, does this person create an atmosphere where you feel like you have to be cautious? And if you're not, do you feel like you're going to be criticized? So that's the first thing on the checklist. The next thing is, most narcissists are not interested in things that other people are typically interested in. And the reason for that is they're only interested in themselves. The next one is very telling. Does the person hijack conversations and shift the conversation to focus on themselves? They want the attention to be on themselves, and they have no regard for what it was that the person was saying before they hijacked the conversation. So that's something to look out for. Most narcissists have no insight into themselves, into their own behavior. They don't reflect on anything about themselves. They're not curious about themselves. So that's another characteristic that I want you to look at. Narcissists also never take responsibility. They will make excuse after excuse, and they don't take responsibility for anything that they do, okay? It's never their fault. They never make a mistake. The next thing is narcissists do not play well with others. So they don't like to participate in any type of group activity. The next characteristic is they have high expectations of you, but they don't reciprocate that expectation. So they'll say, you should listen to me, but they don't listen to you. Or they'll say, you should respect me, but they don't respect you. Okay, so that's an important characteristic. Another important characteristic is whenever they get angry, they never manage their anger appropriately, no matter what the situation. So every time they express anger, it's not done in a socially acceptable way. Another thing that narcissists do is they try to isolate you from other people who want to spend time with you. They want to take you away from other people who enjoy your company. Narcissists also will exaggerate their positive qualities, and they'll minimize or completely ignore or deny any of their faults. So they don't have any. They think they're perfect. It's everyone else's problem. So they exaggerate what they're good at, and they deny that there's anything wrong with them. They also want to appear very successful, and they're jealous of other people's success. Another really telling characteristic is they never remember details about other people. They won't remember your name. They won't remember your occupation. They just don't care. So they don't focus on that. They'll ask a lot of questions, but they don't listen to the answer because they don't care. They also demonstrate what we call all or nothing thinking. You're either all good or you're all bad. That's how they think about everything. The next thing is they don't demonstrate loyalty, but they expect extreme loyalty from you, but they don't reciprocate the loyalty. Another telling characteristic is when there's any kind of upset or stressful situation, they can't maintain like a steady demeanor. They're not able to navigate that appropriately. So look for that. Also, you may notice that if a narcissist demonstrates any type of love or compliment to you or anything like that, it's typically because there's really a self-gratification tied to that. It's really not about what they're expressing to you. They have a hidden agenda, and it's a self-satisfying agenda. Narcissists are also very good at making you feel like you can't be yourself in their presence. You're kind of walking on eggshells around that person. You've learned that that's required because if you don't, the negative behavior that you receive from the narcissist really isn't worth it. So you kind of tiptoe around the narcissist. And if you're ever decisive about anything, a narcissist will interpret that as you being adversarial. So they'll take that as a challenge, as a problem. They don't understand that you may just be decisive in that particular circumstance. So look for that. Also, when they, on the rare occasions that they do anything kind or they have some sort of act of kindness, they will always follow that up with a you owe me attitude. So they will do this, but they expect that. It's never unconditional. You always owe them for whatever it is that they did for you. So, look for that. So let's say you've gone over these traits in your mind and you decide that you are indeed in a relationship with a narcissist. So now what do? Well, my first suggestion is study them. You need to study the narcissist. Step outside of the relationship and study them. And this is important because this is how you gain information. And if you can detach emotionally, you will change the dynamic in the relationship with the narcissist. If you analyze the narcissist's behavior in an unemotional way, try to leave your emotions at the door, you'll gain clarity about the narcissist, and it'll help you maintain an emotional balance, okay? So that's the first thing. I want you to watch them, study the narcissist. And next, if you have an opportunity, call them out on their narcissism. Narcissists think that being a narcissist is a good quality. They are really misguided. And so if you catch them demonstrating one of their narcissistic characteristics or traits, you can say something like, be careful, your narcissism is showing. This is one way where you can start to shift the dynamic in the relationship, because they won't expect you to say something like that. The next very important thing is I want you to understand the narcissistic abuse cycle. Narcissists are creatures of habit. And once they identify an abusive tactic, they'll use it over and over again. Now, there are lots of ways a person can abuse you. They can be physically abusive, emotionally abusive, verbally abusive, mentally abusive, financially abusive. So they could even be, physically aggressive. And narcissists like to create confusion. They like to twist the truth, and they'll gaslight you. They'll limit your access to money, or they may use sexual coercion. They have all types of abusive tactics that you want to become aware of. So there are 4 phases to the narcissistic cycle of abuse. The first thing that happens is the narcissist feels threatened by something, by you, by the circumstance. That's the first step. They feel threatened. The next thing that they do is they respond to that threat by abusing other people. They'll abuse you or whoever else is in close proximity when they feel threatened. The third thing they do is they become the victim. They will act like they're the victim, not the person they're abusing. And the last step, the 4th phase, is they feel empowered. So this sick cycle of abuse feeds their narcissism. So it's important for you to identify each cycle, because that puts you in the position to stop the cycle. And the way to do this is to really just become an observer, almost like you are in the audience. You're not personalizing it, so you're taking the emotion out of it. Look at it as if you're going to a movie and you're watching the show, and the show is the narcissist, whatever behavior they're demonstrating. And when you do this, you're able to protect yourself emotionally, because you're starting to really get an idea of how to navigate the dynamics with this narcissist. Another thing that you need to be very careful of are gifts, particularly surprise gifts. You need to treat those gifts, any gift from a narcissist, treat it with caution, because there is almost always a self-serving agenda tied to the gift. So don't be fooled, okay? So if you get a surprise gift, you want to look at, wait a minute, what is going on, okay? The next thing I want you to do is you need to reset your expectations of this person, because they don't have the ability to show empathy or compassion. And although they expect you to show empathy and compassion to them, they do not reciprocate. So if you find yourself in a position where you need some empathy or some compassion, don't go to the narcissist to get it, because you're not going to get that from them. Okay? So understand that your expectation of the narcissist should be they don't have the ability to give you what you want or what you need. The next thing I want you to do is remember, with a narcissist, don't poke the bear. Because if you expose a narcissist and you trigger their shame, they're going to launch an offensive attack. And narcissists do not attack lightly. So you don't want to trigger a narcissist's shame. That's why they wear the mask, to hide from their own shame and self-loathing. The next key is to have very firm boundaries with a narcissist, and don't let them pull you into a blame game, because first of all, narcissists never apologize. They don't apologize for anything, but they will demand apology from you. They'll exaggerate your mistake, they'll minimize their own, and they will expect you to apologize. So do not fall into that trap, okay? Do not play the blame game. So let's pretend you've had enough of this narcissist and you have decided that you're done. You're going to end this relationship, whether it's a breakup or a divorce, whatever it is, you're done. So some of you may already have left a relationship with a narcissist, and you probably understand the fallout that happens when you break up with a narcissist. If you haven't ever broken up with a narcissist, I want you to be ready for the maelstrom of drama that's going to follow the breakup. I got something on my lip. Okay, so you've probably already realized that the narcissist is completely self-serving and selfish. It's also important to realize that the narcissist doesn't have the ability to play fair. And they particularly cannot play fair if they're backed into a corner. So you, being the reasonable person in the relationship, will probably expect that the breakup process go, pretty smoothly, and that the narcissist will show you the same level of consideration that you show the narcissist. That's not going to happen at all. You need to know and understand that the narcissist is going to create an enormous amount of conflict over any type of negotiation that is related to the breakup. Whether it's separating your furniture, dividing your property, co-parenting, child support, no matter what the negotiation is, the narcissist is going to create an enormous amount of conflict. So be ready for that. When the narcissist starts to understand that you want to end the relationship, they become an adversary who will stop at nothing to win, because they feel as if a war is being waged against them. So they will do whatever it takes to win in the situation. So you have to be prepared for the bad behavior that you're going to see. The narcissist is going to engage in a vast amount of bad behavior. And what I want you to do is try to resist becoming defensive, because it's natural that we want to, respond defensively when the narcissist is trying to use the legal system to bully you, or the family court system to bully you. And it's hard to stay emotionally stable when what you thought was going to be a simple process turned out to be a full-on war. And you are defending everything that you care about. Everything is at stake. But the reason you don't want to come across as defensive is because people will look at that as if you are fully engaged in the conflict. They don't understand that you are the reasonable one in the relationship, and the narcissist is the problem. People don't see that. So it's important for you to remind yourself that you should not become defensive, and you need to be very, very aware of what exactly you're dealing with. The traits of the narcissist make them a very difficult adversary, because narcissists need admiration. They need to be right. They need to be seen as a good guy. They need to criticize you when you don't meet their needs. They need to come across as charismatic and successful. And remember, they have no ability to feel remorse for anything that they do. They don't have a conscience. They have an enormous need to control not only you, the situation that they now find themselves in, this breakup. Narcissists also mirror the values of the people that they are talking to. And most of the time, they're not genuine values, but they will mirror the values to look like they're socially acceptable, that they have those values. They put up a fake persona of someone who's caring and understanding, but they do this because they use that to manipulate people. And they really, really think that nothing is their fault. Nothing is ever their fault. And they hang on to resentment. And that fuels their desire for revenge. They also think they're better than anyone else. And so how dare you want to leave them? How dare you want to break up with them or divorce them or whatever? But the most important thing I want you to remember is that the narcissist is not interested in solving or resolving any relationship problems. They're not interested. So be ready for the narcissist to dismiss you and dismiss your needs. They'll dismiss all of the love, all of the devotion, all of the time that you've invested in the relationship, all of the mutual companionship that you've shared with the narcissist, because in the narcissist's mind, it's gone. It's all gone, as if it never happened. Whereas you will remember everything that you've invested and all the love and attention and affection and on and on. Not them. In their mind, it never happened. It's done. It's gone. The only thing that the narcissist will find difficult in a breakup or a divorce is that they will have a hard time accepting that they can no longer control you or have any kind of control in your life. That's what the narcissist will struggle with. So be ready for the narcissist to try to maintain control over you and your life. And typically, if you have children, for instance, the narcissist is going to try to control the way you spend the child support money. They're going to want to control the visitation schedule. They're going to want to control every aspect of co-parenting. They'll also try to undermine you to your friends, your family, your children, your coworkers. They'll try to steal your money, your property, your belongings, and your soul. And all the while that they're doing this, they're going to come across as the most innocent and sincere person who would never do that, because they're trying to gain support from other people to support their position that they're the good guy and you're the demon that's ruining their life. This is what the narcissists do. They're the victim. So the amount of abuse that a narcissist will inflict on you depends on the way you respond. So if you show the narcissist any type of fear or weakness, any type of confusion, they'll feed off of this, because that's part of the cycle of abuse. So to protect yourself, you need to show no weakness, and don't buy into anything that the narcissist says, and do not respond or fall into the trap of the narcissist's manipulation of you. And the reason we don't want to do that is because the healthier you are emotionally, the more success you'll have in dealing with this narcissist, because they're very good at creating confusion. And they'll make you question whether you're the problem or not. And that's exactly where the narcissist wants you to be, confused and questioning yourself. They'll do anything they can to antagonize you into an emotional response. So you need to understand that there is absolutely nothing you can do to change the narcissist's behavior. That is predictable, and that is going to stay the same. The only thing that you have any control over is your response to the narcissist. So I think that the best approach is that any response to the narcissist needs to be well thought out and measured, never with any kind of emotion, because the narcissist is going to try to make you, they try to make themselves feel better by projecting their own shame and guilt and fear onto you. But if you resist in responding emotionally to that, or retaliating or challenging the narcissist, guess what happens? It puts the shame and the fear and the guilt back on them. So Any response to the narcissist should be measured, calm, no emotion, okay? And I don't want you to forget that the world of the narcissist is made up of fantasy. Nothing in their world, in their head, nothing is real. Everything is an expression of their desperate need to be someone that they're not. So it's important for you to see them as they really are, not who you wished they could be. When they show you who they are, you need to believe them. And don't let them make you doubt your own value. And do not let them dismiss you or belittle you, because they will try. And the reason they do is because they believe that their needs are more important than yours. You don't have any needs in their mind. They believe they're smarter than you, they're smarter than everyone, and they really find it offensive that other people don't agree with them. And they really find it offensive that you would dare want to leave the relationship with them. They don't respect boundaries. So don't expect them to respect your boundaries. And the reason they don't respect boundaries is because they don't respect anyone else's needs. They only look at their own. So you'll never be able to teach a narcissist to respect your boundaries. But you can refuse to allow the narcissist to cross your boundaries. And that's a very different thing. So you need to be very clear about what behavior is acceptable and what behavior is unacceptable. And for instance, refuse to communicate with the narcissist if the narcissist is communicating with you in a way that creates conflict, in a way that's manipulative or disrespectful. You just refuse. Not doing it. You're not going to be the other participant in that dynamic. A good way to kind of shut that down is to require communication be in writing, like via email. And you can let the narcissist know that you will not respond to any communication that dismisses you or belittles you or dismisses your needs. Because understand that the narcissist is not going to like any boundary that you set. But you have to stand your ground. And remember that you're trying to get away from the narcissist. And that makes the narcissist feel threatened. And when they feel threatened, don't be surprised by either their bad behavior or they're going to try to draw you back into the toxic relationship. So that's when you don't fall for the future faking or the gifts. None of it. You cannot tolerate or entertain any of it, because you will be the one that suffers in the long run. The best thing you can do is to surround yourself with an understanding support system. And you know, a lot of times it's hard for family and friends to understand if they haven't experienced a narcissist themselves. It's going to be very hard for them to understand what you're going through. So sometimes it's smarter to talk to a therapist or a someone at your church, someone who's not in the game, because they'll be able to look at it a lot more objectively and give you the support that you need. Trying to explain your experience being abused by a narcissist, it's very hard for people to wrap their heads around that unless they've walked in your shoes. It's a very unique experience, and a lot of people come out of narcissistic relationships with symptoms of like PTSD, and it takes time to recover. So I'm hoping that what we've discussed, helps you identify whether or not you have a narcissist in your life, whether it's a friend, a family member, or a significant other. And if you do, then you need to change the dynamic so that you don't get stuck in the cycle of the narcissistic abuse, because that is a very predictable cycle. That's what they do. And, like we talked about, the 4 phases. And so remember, they're not the victim, although they want to convince everyone else that they are the victim. And you have to be one step ahead of the narcissist. And the thing that you have in your corner is that narcissists are very predictable. And that will help you, because once you study them, you'll find that they will repeat the same behaviors. And then you'll be able to be one step ahead of them and mitigate the damage, and hopefully get out of the relationship and put a stop to it and try to minimize the wreckage that they'll attempt to cause. Okay? So I'm going to go back and look through the chat and see if anyone has any questions, and then we'll go from there. Okay? And I'll say hi to some people that I didn't see before. Okay. So let's see. Hi, team. I don't know how to say that. Dai-si-do-222. Nice to see you. And Missy Q, I saw you earlier. High Priestess. Oh, thank you, High Priestess. She likes when I teach you new things. Good. I don't think any of us have, most of us have encountered a narcissist and been damaged by one. So the more you know, the less they'll be able to damage you. Okay. Hi, Sandra C. Missed you too. Go back and listen to the beginning where I apologize profusely for dropping off the radar. But I had to. Line wants to know, do narcs know that they are different? It depends on where on the spectrum the narcissist is. If they're a lesser narcissist, maybe not. The greater narcissists, not only do they know, but they're proud of it. So yes, they absolutely do. Martini Fish wants to know, is there a difference between a female narcissist and a male? Which is more dangerous? No, there's no difference between a female and a male narcissist in my experience. The level of dangerousness depends on how threatened the narcissist feels. How severe is their shame triggered? Okay. Most narcissists are very malicious and they will do a lot of damage. Most narcissists don't do a little damage. It's usually anything and everything that they can inflict on another person, they will. How many narcissists, Risa? Hi. How many narcissists? A lot more than you would think. And again, depending on the spectrum, where do they fall? We all have narcissistic traits because that's good. That's healthy. You want to have some positive self-esteem. Where it crosses over into, really malignant narcissism is when the person, typically in their childhood, realized that they split from their emotions. They realize that their emotions are not getting validated, their needs are not getting met. So they separate from that and they put a mask on. They create their mask, their false persona, and it protects them in a way. And mostly it protects them from their own self-loathing and their own shame. And they wear that mask for their entire life. And they, if you create a crack in the mask and you trigger those feelings of shame or self-loathing, you are going to be punished for that. The narcissist will exact revenge on you for exposing those feelings, because they spend a lifetime trying to protect themselves from that. Hi, Welsh Pam. Nice to see you. Haven't seen you. So good to see you. Thank you. Hi, Marion. Yes, I'm doing well. Thank you for being here. You're right, Welsh Pam. They don't care. They really don't. And I think a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their head around that how could they not? How could they not care? Because they're so good at faking it. Just remember, everything is fake. The narcissist fakes affection. The whole thing is a lie. And that's really hurtful when you realize that you've been a participant in this idea of what you thought your life was. And then you realize that, wait a minute, this was never real. It was real to you, but it's not real to them. And so all of the time and energy and emotion that you invested in that relationship doesn't matter at all to the narcissist. Not at all. They won't have these, wonderful memories of all the time that you shared and all. No, none of that. To them, once you communicate that the relationship is ending, in their mind, it never happened. And all they want to do is punish you for making them feel threatened. Oh, thank you, Missy Q. You're so sweet. Thank you. I thought you'd enjoy it because there are so many narcissists that damage us. And, even if you're not in a relationship, like on a significant other level, your boss could be a narcissist, or your neighbor, or someone in your family system, an uncle, a brother, a parent. So it's really important that you fully understand what you're dealing with, because if you don't, you're going to think that they are like you, and they're not. They're not at all like you. And just like I said, like if you break up with a narcissist, you think, all right, we're going to divvy up our property and it's not, it's not going to be a big deal. Oh, no. It's a full-on war in the narcissist's mind. You have started a war, and their entire agenda is to win at all costs. And usually you're the cost. You're the collateral damage. Oh, really, Risa? See, Your manager. Yep. There's a lot of them, you know, and you don't even know how many they are until you learn these characteristics and these traits. And then you're able to boom, boom, boom. I'm telling you, if you've ever tangled with a narcissist and gotten away, you will never, you'll see those red flags so quick and you will run. You'll never do that again. Welsh Pam says, yeah, walking on eggshells. Yeah. Yeah, they do. They want to break you down because it makes them feel good about themselves when they diminish you, when they belittle you. Absolutely. And they call you weak because it makes them feel powerful. Yeah. Yep. And they relish in your discomfort. You know, they get narcissistic supply from any kind of emotion that you demonstrate. If you're crying over something they did, that's narcissistic supply. Anything, any kind of emotional response that they get from you is, I don't know what, I have a hair stuck, is emotional supply for them. It's narcissistic supply. Okay, let's see. Risa says she got in trouble at work because the manager says they like to have fun around here and you're too serious. Oh my God. Oh. Well, I hope that listening to some of these traits helps you get one step ahead of that person in your mind. You can even play mental games. Like if you are engaging in a conversation with a narcissist and they hijack the conversation, you can start to play in your head. Let's see how long or how quickly the narcissist will hijack the conversation, and then see if it gets shorter and shorter the longer you engage in the conversation, because they can't not shift the focus onto them. So they'll hijack whatever topic. They don't care. They don't care what you're talking about, what you said. They'll just hijack the conversation. So it kind of helps knowing that, so you can feel as if you have something, or you have a better understanding of them than they have of themselves. Oh, hey, thank you, Melmac. Thumbs up. Yes, thank you. It does mean a lot to my channel. Thank you. How sweet. Scout and Choir says, thank you for talking about this topic. Oh, thank you. You guys are a gift to me. I'm so happy to be able to be here with you today. And you're right, love is blind. And I hope that this discussion has helped you take off your rose-colored glasses and realize what you're dealing with. The person that you thought the narcissist was isn't. They're not. And you have to understand the adversary that they are. Okay? It's like knowing your enemy. You have to understand what makes them tick and how to navigate that relationship so that you come out of it undamaged, or with as little amount of damage as possible. Okay? Because a lot of people don't understand, and they're way into it before they start to realize, they're already in the relationship so far that they're like, oh my God, what happened? How did this go off the rails so quickly? Or I can't believe I didn't see this, or I didn't know. Well, no, because narcissists are very good at faking. Everything is fake. Everything about them is fake. Okay? And Welsh Pam's right. You can't be happy around a narcissist. And if you have one in your life and you are able to get rid of them, you should. Life's too short to spend another minute of another day with a toxic person. You don't deserve that. You deserve better. The narcissist doesn't deserve you. Okay? And they make you feel so as if you're not worthy, as if you deserve the abuse. It's really, you really have to talk to yourself to support your, they make you feel so fragile. And so you have to kind of talk yourself off the ledge and build yourself back up, because they've spent all their time tearing you down. Oh God, Risa, I hope you find a better job, honey. He sounds like a real piece of work. Yes, Welsh Pam, they're always the victim. It's never their fault. It's always someone else's. If you hadn't acted this way, then I wouldn't have had to do this. It's so toxic. Don't fall for any of that. And if you have, just pick yourself up and move forward. We can't fix what's already happened. It's already happened. And the best thing you can do is move forward, recognize what you're dealing with, and get out of the relationship. Oh, really, Risa? You even have to beg for file folders? Oh, my God. See, High Priestess has a perfect example of the way a narcissist will manipulate and try to create conflict in everything. And so this is the perfect example. They'll try to use the family court system to make you look unfit. It's all about, and they look so angelic. That's what they do. And you just have to be one step ahead and try to predict, because they are predictable, and you have that on your side. They are predictable. So try to go back in your mind, try to put the pieces together of what is his predictable behavior and get one step ahead of him. Melmac has a question. Is the primary root of narcissism shame? Yes, it's shame and self-loathing. And it's normally because they were raised by typically a narcissistic parent, and their feelings and their emotions were dismissed. They weren't validated. Their needs weren't met. And they realized that if I am this kind of child, then I will get approval. So they put on their mask for the first time and develop their false persona, which is typically the good child. And they spend the rest of their lives hiding behind the mask because they can't tolerate psychologically their own self-loathing and the shame that they feel. In childhood, they split from their emotions. So it's like they used to feel emotions and they weren't validated. So they realized that, well, I better not feel emotions and I'll just be this, whatever it is that they think the parent is requiring. And then they become that. But it's not real. It's the beginning of a lifetime of false persona. And it's to protect themselves. They're really quite tragic people. They are so damaged. But they wreak havoc on everyone. Everyone suffers having a narcissist in their world, whether it's a boss, a neighbor, a friend, whatever. Let's see. High Priestess says he's mad because he filed for divorce and I didn't beg him back. So now I've been having, yeah. How dare you? Right? How dare you not worship him? This is what they think. Don't fall victim. Don't fall into the trap. You've done nothing wrong. Do not apologize. Just recognize what you're dealing with and do whatever you have to do to minimize the damage and move on. Do not let the narcissist have any control over your life. And when he tries to manipulate and control through your child, that's when you require any communication be in writing and it not be rude or insulting or dismissive or hostile. You set the tone, because that person's behavior is not going to change unless you set the tone. So if he steps all over boundaries, then you do what you have to do. So I would minimize contact to the bare minimum and have it specifically revolve around whatever it is about the child, and that's it. Because you'll never get that person to understand the hurt and the damage that that person has caused. So there's no sense in trying to explain, because you're wasting your breath. You can't explain anything to a narcissist because they don't care. Okay? They don't care about you or your feelings or what they did, because in their mind, they haven't done anything wrong. And they're better than everyone else. Okay? Okay, here's another question. What is the most common trait of a narcissist? I would say their inability to, they have no capacity to have any genuine feeling. So the most common trait is that they mirror the feelings of other people. They've learned what they're supposed to do in certain circumstances. So for instance, and I think I've mentioned this before, say the narcissist is walking down the street and some old lady falls in the middle of the street. The narcissist will understand intellectually that, I'm supposed to go over and help the lady up. That's what I'm supposed to do, and then I'm supposed to have this certain look on my face, etc. And they will act it out. But if they were being genuine, they would have just kept on walking, because they literally don't care that the lady fell down. So the most common trait is their ability to be a chameleon. And they'll take on the values of the people in the room. So say everyone in the room is pro-choice. The narcissist is pro-choice. Or if everyone in the room is pro-vaccination, the narcissist is too. Nothing is genuine about the narcissist. That's what they do. Okay, so it's that. It's about being a chameleon and mirroring. Hi, Heavenly Clouds. Long time no see. Yes, it's been a war, High Priestess. I am so sorry. I will send you love and light. Yes, you get everything in writing, because it's very hard to get people to understand the behavior of a narcissist, because they're so good at pretending that they're innocent and they're saintly. Heavenly Cloud says she was married to a man, you wanted a divorce, and when you left him, he had a gun and told me I would. Oh, I hope you didn't let that change your mind. I'm hoping. They can be, that sounds like a malignant greater narcissist. He's way on this side of the scale. He's the dangerous, vindictive, malicious narcissist. Yes. I hope you're okay. Scumps, yes. Yeah, they are. They know they're mimicking. Absolutely. They've been honing that skill from childhood, because they've realized, they know that they're different. Most of them. The lesser narcissists, maybe not so aware, but most narcissists are aware that they're different, and they realize to get what they want, to get the fuel that they need, their narcissistic supply, they've learned that they have to mimic in life. And everything that they do is mimicking. Nothing is genuine. They don't have the capacity to love. It's just not there. They don't love anybody. It's like you loving your chair. Yeah, you like your chair, it's comfortable, but that's all it is to them. If you're in a relationship with a narcissist and you're the significant other, they love you as much as they love their chair. So you need to wrap your head around that, because the relationship that you think you're having, you're not. It's not. It's fake. They're very good at future faking. That's how they sucked you in. Okay. Let's see. Yes, narcissists are very, very strange. Oh, thank you, Scout. I'm hoping it helps. I hope it helps all of you. If you have to tangle with a narcissist, I hope I've given you, and listen to this again, and take notes and check off that checklist, because they are predictable. That's the one thing. They have the same traits. They all have the same traits. So it doesn't matter what body they come in. This is who they are, or really who they're not. You see what I mean? Thank you, Welsh Pam. I'm glad I'm helping. It's exhausting to deal with a narcissist. And, they're so good at trapping you, sucking you in the beginning, because they are pretending to be everything you're looking for in a relationship. And so you jump right in, and before you know it, it's like, wait a minute, none of this is coming to fruition. They talk a good game, but they don't produce what they say they're going to produce. And then it becomes, they're very manipulative, they're very abusive. They start to chip away at your self-esteem, they wear you down, and you feel like, well, maybe I am the problem, or maybe I am doing something wrong. They're so good at what they do. But you are smarter because you're not empty. They are empty. So you need to use the information and leverage your situation and hopefully end the relationship so you can move on in life. You see, they'll always be empty, damaged people. You may be damaged by a narcissist, but that's not a life sentence. They have a life sentence. They can't be fixed or repaired. And they never seek out therapy because they don't think there's anything wrong with them. You see? So even though you may feel damaged and hurt by the narcissist, you're not the damaged one. They are. And they will always be. And you won't. You'll move forward in life and you'll find happiness outside of them. Okay? Let's see. Yeah, Line, that's a good comment. They are data collectors. Yes. And it's interesting because the data that they collect is they'll only remember things that are self-serving for them. They could care less what you do for a living. They probably wouldn't remember anyone's name if they're introduced at a party. They don't care. But they'll remember things that they can leverage against you. Absolutely. Yes. Let me see if anyone else has questions. Wow, Risa, you heard that? If you can't convince them, confuse them. Oh my goodness. Yeah, narcissists want you to be confused. They want to keep you off balance. They don't want you emotionally stable. So that's why they gaslight you. That's why they'll say, oh, I never said that. We didn't talk about this. Yeah, you did. They're trying to mentally confuse you. They're trying to keep you off balance because it gives them the power in the relationship. So don't let them do that. Yes, being educated is knowledge. Thank you, Scout Inquirer. You are absolutely right. Oh, Heavenly Cloud, you told him and it made him mad. I bet it did. How dare you? How dare you be able to be superior in anything that is to them a threat. Yes. Delusional disorder, Welsh Pam, it's not a delusional disorder is more like if a person believes that they are the Queen of England and they're not, they're deluded. What narcissists do is their reality is a fantasy. And the splitting that happens in their mind happens typically in childhood when they split from their emotions and they put on the mask for the first time. And then everything is a fantasy because they're pretending. It's like they're taking on a role in a movie and their whole life is a fantasy. And the thing about that is that's so damaging. It's not damaging to the narcissist. It's damaging to you because what you thought was real is a fantasy. That's what is so damaging. Because the life you thought you were living, The life you thought you were having or going to have with the narcissist was never real. None of it. And that is earth-shattering. And you have to put the pieces back together, because it's like you're fractured, you're fragile, you're like, how could this, what happened? You're just not built that way. So you don't expect it until you're so deep in it that you're drowning in narcissistic abuse. Oh, you're in the middle of this, High Priestess. Oh. He stops, especially when it comes boundaries. You set your boundaries and don't allow him to cross them. He's going to try to manipulate your children, your child, every aspect of that. And you just have to stand firm. Just stand firm and don't give him any fuel. Don't believe a thing you hear from that person. And it will someday, he will be in your rearview mirror. He won't always have this impact on you. He's grasping for control because he can't wrap his head around the fact that he can't control your life anymore because you're divorcing him. So you will be all right. It's just going to be difficult. Coming out of a narcissistic relationship is very difficult. But go over the characteristics and the traits, because he is going to be very predictable, and hopefully you can get one step ahead of him. Okay. Scumps. Oh, stalking. Oh, broke into her house. Oh, my goodness. Yes, that's what they do. They go around and they will try to undermine you with everyone that you know, your family, your friends, your boss. They are so outrageous. And it's nothing like what the kind of person you are. Like, you would never do that. And then here's this person that's off the chain, and you're like, what? And all the while, they're so convincing. They're just so convincing. They're just so perfect. They're like, oh, I would never. I'm just such a good person. It's her. She's the one. Oh, yeah. It's wow. Yeah. Shannon, you're coming out the other side. Bravo. Oh, I'm so glad. One long silent truth. Good. No contact is the only thing that works with a narcissist, is no contact. And if you have to co-parent, the only thing that you can do to minimize their bad behavior is to require everything in writing, in email. And if they say anything that is rude or dismissive or anything, then you say, no, I'm not tolerating this. And you stick to that. And it's like trying to potty train a puppy. You know, if you keep telling the puppy, you got to go potty outside, don't pee in the house. You just keep telling that narcissist, I'm not going to read your email if it's rude. And you can only talk to me about the child. Just because someone asks you a question doesn't mean you have to answer it. So don't let the narcissist have any information about you or your life. And sometimes that means getting off social media, because they'll stalk you on social media and your family to get information about you. So you may have to temporarily suspend those things for a long enough amount of time that you've been able to reestablish yourself and you're feeling strong and you're able to, have a life. You can't let the narcissist steal your life because they will suck you dry like a vampire. Oh, good. Scout and Choir, you're videotaping conversations. Excellent. Excellent. Journal, yes. Do whatever you have to do, because people, the average person who hasn't experienced this type of narcissistic relationship, they have no idea. And if you try to explain to them, they'll be like, really? I didn't think he was like that. It's like, so, and if you have to go through the legal system, there are lawyers that specialize in dealing with narcissistic people. They're trained to, or they specialize in litigation against a narcissist, so they know the dynamic. So you can also look at that. But the best thing you can do is talk to a therapist so that you can start to rebuild yourself. Good, Heavenly Cloud. Everything we learn, you can pay it forward. So your experience, whatever it is, in whatever situation, if you can help someone else navigate that, especially if they're in a narcissistic relationship, try to help and at least let them know that you understand what they're going through. That is the best support you can give a person, is to tell them, I know how you feel. I lived it. You can, and it goes a long way. Bribery and blackmail. Oh yeah. There's no low. There's nothing they won't stoop to get what they want, to win. And when they try to trap you with that kind of blackmail or emotional blackmail, like, oh, I'm going to kill myself if you don't come back to me. No, we're not even going to entertain that. And if they're threatening to expose something of yours that you wanted kept private or that's embarrassing, you know what? Tell them, knock yourself out. You do you. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to have to live with that person. And they are going to have to live with themselves for the rest of their miserable life. And you're not going to allow them to make the rest of your life miserable. So whatever it is they want to expose, you can survive that. It's better than decades more with the narcissist. Okay? So, in fact, you can get one step ahead of it and tell whoever they're thinking of exposing it to, tell them. And then there's nothing to expose because you will have already told the people. Yeah, they do try to butter you up. They want to suck you back into the toxic relationship for their own benefit, not yours. That's for sure. And yes, they'll act like they've done nothing wrong. It's never them. It's you. You're the terrible person. Don't believe a word they say. Okay? High Priestess, you want him to meet someone else? Don't you feel sorry? I do. I feel sorry for whoever his next victim is. And just remember, okay, all of you, if you have been in a relationship with a narcissist, Believe me, they put their past relationship people in like a garage. Okay, so picture yourself in a garage with all of the narcissist's former significant others or whatever people were significant to him, giving him narcissistic supply. You're all chilling in a garage in his mind. It's never over with a narcissist until one of you dies. That's what narcissists think. So you're in the garage and he's over here getting his narcissistic supply from his new primary source. Okay. Now say that dwindles a little bit. He'll go on over to the garage and he's going to pluck out one of his former people, significant others or whatever, and he's going to do what we call hoovering. He'll send out a text just to test the waters, to see if he can get any supply out of that person. That's why they always come back. It can be years that you haven't heard from the narcissist. And out of the blue, you will get a phone call, a text, a letter, a drive-by, something. That's because you've been in the garage and he didn't really need you, but now he does. So he opens the garage door and he takes you out to see if he could drive you around, and then he's going to put you back. Okay? So just understand that it's never in their mind. It's never over because their ego doesn't allow for that. Okay? So that's what they do. Camilla, hi, Camilla. Long time no talk to. You have 2 kids together. You don't show anything to him. Good. Of course he doesn't want the kids. Yeah. Probably because he doesn't get any kind of narcissistic supply from them. And it's been long enough now he can't use them to damage you. So their usefulness is over. So that will probably continue. That pattern will probably continue. And he will drift out of their lives. Okay, I have a question here. Do you consider or classify narcos mental illness? Yes. Narcissistic personality disorder is a diagnosis in the DSM-5, which is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Illness. And it falls under the chapter of personality disorders. So yes, it is a diagnosable disorder, and it's not very treatable. Personality disorders are not fixable. Like someone who's a borderline personality, paranoid personality, narcissistic, they're not very treatable. They don't respond. Medicine can't fix a narcissist. And they rarely seek out any kind of therapy because they don't think they're the problem. So they're very resistant to treatment. But yes, it is a mental illness. Yes. Are they aware of the awful things they've done and said? Yes, most of them are. But they don't care. They really don't. There's nothing that they won't say. There's nothing that they won't do if they feel that they've been wounded or threatened or shamed. They just don't care what they say or how they treat other people, because to them, you're not a person. You're not. You're a chair. You can't hurt your chair, right? That's how I want you to look at this. So Yeah. And sometimes they're intentionally malicious. Absolutely. They look for the weakness in you, and they will capitalize on that. That's why when you're navigating the relationship or trying to get out of it, you cannot show weakness. You can't show fear, because that to them gives them supply, makes them feel powerful. Look at how upset I can make her. Look at how she's crying over me. Look at how angry she is. All of that is fuel. So show no weakness, show nothing, actually, nothing, no emotion. And if you do have to respond or communicate, make sure it's done in a very measured way, so that they don't use that as fuel, and they won't think, oh, look how scared she is, or look how upset she is. You can't let them do that to you. And even if you are terrified or so upset you can't even stand it, don't show it. Not to them. Not to the narcissist. I don't care if you have to scream in your pillow. Don't show weakness, because you're not weak. They just make you feel like you are. They want you to be weak and confused. Don't let that happen. And yes, Cup of Stars, they triangulate. And for those of you that don't know what that is, when you have a conflict with another human, typically in triangulation, the person will bring in a third party in order to diffuse the tension or the conflict between the original two people. So they'll want to bring someone in who's going to be on their side. You know, just like when you call, like say you get upset about something and you call your girlfriend and you're like, I can't believe what my boss did today. He is such an ass. And you're bringing this other person into your conflict with your boss, and it makes you feel better because your friend is going to go, oh my God, he's such an ass. I can't believe you have to deal with him. That's triangulation. And narcissists do that all the time. All the time. And you're usually the one that's made to look like the villain. And you're not. He's the villain. He's the villain. Let's see. Can a narcissist marry another narcissist, or is that impossible? Yes, they can, and it would depend on where on the spectrum. A lesser narcissist could marry a greater narcissist, but a greater won't marry a greater. They won't. If a greater narcissist meets another greater narcissist, they won't develop any kind of rapport, because they'll recognize what each other is, and they'll go look somewhere else for people, for what they need, because they recognize they can't get what they need from another narcissist. Okay. So very rare that narcissists marry. We typically see narcissists in family systems where it's a parent and a child. The parent is the narcissist, and then the child becomes a narcissist because of the parent's neglect. Okay, let's see. Oh, you're welcome, Missy Q. I'll answer any questions you have. Is borderline personality disorder people with borderline personality disorders do have narcissistic traits, but people with borderline, they have typically a long history of instability in relationships. They're also very often suicidal, or they self-harm. And it's not because they want to kill themselves. It's because they create drama and chaos in their relationships. And that is a good way to create chaos. Borderlines hate you and love you. I hate you, then they throw you away. I hate you. I love you, come back. I hate you. That's a borderline. They're very unstable. They've had, oftentimes they've been sexually abused at some point in their life. They can't sustain relationships. They're in and out of relationships all the time. They're very difficult to be around. They're very taxing on any friendships that they have. They're really exhausting kind of people. But a borderline would seek therapy before a narcissist would. A borderline person might recognize that my life is a train wreck, and I can't seem to maintain any kind of stability or relationships, and they might seek out a therapist and be open to feedback to help them try to navigate better. Where a narcissist, they don't think there's anything wrong with them. So I hope that answered your question with that. Yes, Cup of Stars. In the beginning with a narcissist, they draw you in, and you share all of your deepest, secrets and desires, and they are just soaking it in. It's all data to them. And then they'll turn it around and use it against you at some point. So yeah. They do. Yes, Cup of Star, gray rock, no contact, just be a gray rock. A gray rock has no feelings, no emotions, can't give them narcissistic supply. Yes. And yes, it's hard, Welsh Pam, you're right, because you keep hoping that the narcissist or the person with the mask, you're hoping that's the real person. Like they future fake. So when you first meet them, they very subtly, they're sly. They kind of get from you information about what you're looking for in a partner, and they become that. And you're like, oh my God, this is the person of my dreams. I can't believe he's just so perfect. And you buy into it. And you think that that's real, and that that's what's, what your relationship is. And they make all promises and all of this, and it never comes to fruition. And then the next thing you know, they're damaging you, and they're gaslighting you, and they're being everything that they didn't present themselves as. And then you realize, oh my God, this isn't the person I thought. You think the one with the mask is real. It's not. And that's very hurtful, because usually by then you've invested a lot, emotionally, physically, financially. I mean, you're in it. And now you're like, oh my God. Yeah. And then the hardest part is letting go of the relationship that you thought you were having, and the relationship and the future that you thought you were going to have. So you're mourning this relationship that never existed and was never going to exist. And that's what really hurts, is that, wow, this isn't what it was, and it will never be. The little glimpses that you saw of the good person, or the one, the man of your dreams, it wasn't real. It's like bait and switch. the perfect example of bait and switch. And yes, they are exhausting. And therapy can only help a narcissist who thinks that they need help. Most of them don't. And a lot of Heavenly Cloud says a lot of narcissists are scammers. Their whole life is a scam, honestly, when you think about it. Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I've missed anybody's questions. Yeah, Heavenly Cloud, I think if both persons were narcissists and they engaged in a relationship, they would probably, it would probably be very volatile, would be a good way to describe how that would go. Misty Blue, no, I don't think so. I don't think alcoholics are necessarily narcissists at first. No. There are lots of reasons why a person escapes their life by using a mind-altering substance, because it's usually reality is difficult for them to exist in, so they use drugs or alcohol to escape reality. But I don't think, I mean, I'm sure there are narcissists who become alcoholics or who are alcoholics, but I don't think that that I haven't seen a close tie between substance abuse and necessarily narcissism. Yes, Anna. Hi, anaphylaxis. Yes, narcissists love codependent people, and they love empaths, because those people give them the most narcissistic supply. Yes. And, you know, a narcissist doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, a significant other. You could have a family member that's a toxic, malignant narcissist that's wreaking havoc on you and other people in your family. And that's when you have to make the decision that just because they're a blood relative doesn't give them license to be destructive in your life. And there is nothing wrong with walking away from a toxic relative and not look back and not feel guilt, because your primary responsibility is to your own stability and your own well-being and your own emotional well-being. And if you have a family member that's disrupting that and creating distress in your life, show them the door. That is totally okay. That is a healthy way to protect yourself. You have the right to protect yourself from people like that, whether they're a blood relative or not. Walk away and don't look back. They're not going to care. Trust me. They're going to look for their narcissistic supply and create chaos somewhere else. Okay? Because a lot of people, I have a lot of patients that feel guilty because they have this difficult relative that they tolerate, and I always tell them, well, why? When is enough? When is enough enough? Are you done yet? So yeah, you have to decide that, you know, I've had it. I'm not taking another minute of this intolerable behavior. Okay. Okay. So let me see if I missed anybody's questions before we wrap it up today. No, I think I got everybody. Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, I got to scroll down a little bit more. Hold on. Yes. Scumps. Yeah, of course we give our family members a pass. But you know what? You have to decide that, you know, you can only tolerate so much for so long. And if the person is very toxic, you can't allow that. You just can't, because it affects everything else that you love. So like, say you have a spouse or children or a job. If this person is dumping toxic energy on you or creating chaos in your life, it's taking away from the good things in your life. And so you have to decide, am I going to continue to give my attention and my energy to this psychic vampire, or am I going to say enough and just focus on the things that are valuable and the things that you value in your life? Okay. You're welcome, Misty Blue. I'm glad I was able to answer your question. Oh, here's Loki. Oh my God, that's so funny, Marie. Yeah, he must be in the garage trying to test the waters and see if you'll take the bait. That's, wow. He must have heard us talking. Okay, so I think I got everybody. I hope so. Anaphylaxis, good job. Cutting your toxic sister out of your life. Excellent. 11 years. Stay strong. I'm glad, Line, I'm glad I was able to help you. Yes, these malignant narcissists are very good at appearing humble and benevolent, and, you know, just they've just got the act down. I mean, they've practiced for a long time. Oh, Audrey, I missed your question. Let me scroll up. Let me see. Scout says the gray rock should be on a t-shirt. Yeah. Okay, let me find your question, okay? Audrey, hold on. I'm scrolling up. Hope I don't miss it. I'm looking. Oh, hi, Lola. I didn't see you earlier. Audrey, I'm not seeing it. Hi, Jordan. Audrey, ask your question again if you could, and I'll scroll back down. I didn't see Jordan's. Is it possible that a malignant narcissist actually channel demonic energy? I think that malignant narcissists channel or exude so much negative energy. And a lot of times they do have some sort of fracture in their aura and in their psyche, in their psychic energy is what I'm trying to say. And when there's a fracture in your psychic energy, then you are vulnerable to that kind of psychic attack, whether it's demons or some other kind of negativity. And it also, you make yourself vulnerable when you abuse drugs and alcohol, because you're also vulnerable to that kind of intrusion into your soul. So yes, I think malignant narcissists, it depends on how toxic they are, how maleficent they are. Yes, they're probably influenced at some level by some sort of, and it might not be demonic, but it's an evil type of energy that is, they attract that by their behavior. So whereas kind, loving energy protects us from those types of spiritual attacks, if that makes sense. Okay. Okay, online orders. If you think your sibling is a narcissist, how do you deal with them? Boundaries. I would send a very clear message to them about what behavior you're going to tolerate and what you won't. And if they cross your boundaries, if they step on your boundary, then you need to take a stand. And whether that is cut them off or, tell them they need to go reflect on their behavior. And if they can come back a changed person or demonstrate a better behavior, then you're open to discussion, but you need to send a very clear message about what it is that they're doing that you don't tolerate. Not to make them change, but to make them understand that, see, we teach people how to treat us, and you can't teach someone that you can't teach them that it's okay to abuse you or to use you as a doormat or to, to do things that upset you. It's not okay. Sorry, that Loki. So teach your sibling that this may have been a pattern in the past, but I'm done. And this is why. And then stand strong. Okay? Okay. Yes, they do, Misty Blue. They really are very good at pretending that they are so innocent and when they're really malicious. Scumps, yes. A child of a narcissistic parent, if they don't have another parent who can provide for them the validation and validate their emotions, kind of make up for what the narcissistic parent isn't doing, they'll likely become narcissists themselves. It would really depend on who else in the family system is there and are they providing what the child needs. And if they aren't, then yeah, that would be the outcome that I would say, yes. Okay, going to go scroll down and see if I can find Audrey's question and make sure I didn't miss anybody else's. Yes, block them. Block the narcissist, no contact. Because you're just torturing yourself. If you don't block them and, you get hoovered, they pull you out of the garage and they try to test the waters, that's going to stir up emotion in you. I mean, and you don't need that, right? Oh, Heavenly Cloud, see, yours did threaten that. He probably also had borderline tendencies, because a lot of people with borderline personality disorder, they do that. They emotionally blackmail you and they'll threaten to harm themselves to get what they want. Let's see. All right. Yeah, they are exhausting. I'm still looking for Audrey. Audrey, I hope you're still here and you could type it again. I'm scrolling down to look for it. Oh, Loki's looking too. Oh, I found it. Okay, Audrey. You're a former codependent in a relationship with a narcissist for 12 years. You're a survivor. He had absolutely no genuine feelings for you. No, he didn't. No, if he's truly a narcissist, And I hope you can go back and listen to the characteristics and the traits that I went over. And if in your wisdom you firmly believe that he meets the criteria for this personality disorder, then I would venture to say no, it was not real. It was real for you, but it wasn't for him. They just don't have the ability. They don't feel love. They not only can they not feel it, they can't, so they can't give it. They are empty. They're like an empty suit. There's nothing in there except the fake person that they are trying to convince everyone that they are. That's the only thing that's in there. And shame and self-hatred and very damaged. They're very damaged people. And I'm not surprised that he tricked you for so long, because they're good at it. They are very good at it, at pretending and mimicking. I'm glad that you're not still in that. You deserve better. And like I said earlier, it's a life sentence for him. It's not a life sentence for you, because you're not a narcissist, and you can find love and happiness. That person never will. Okay? So it kind of goes hand in hand with his feelings weren't genuine, and he'll never have that. He'll never find happiness, because they're very damaged people. So, yeah. Okay. So I think we've gotten everything. You're welcome, Audrey. I just want to say again to all of you, how much, Audrey, don't be sad. Don't be sad, because you're not the one with the life sentence. Hopefully you'll have decades ahead of you in life, and to have experienced 12 years with the narcissist, when you look back decades from now, it'll only be this much. You'll have the rest of your life to have good, healthy, loving relationships. And that person never will. And you've learned a lot by having had that relationship, because it's important to remember in life, you can look at things in two ways. It's either a tragedy or a lesson, okay? Don't look at things as a tragedy, because that relationship taught you a lot. And I have a feeling that you'll never get enmeshed with another narcissist. Most people who have come out of a narcissistic relationship, they see the red flags right away and run. So you'll never repeat that, and you've learned a lot, and you deserve better. So don't be sad. He's the sad and pathetic one, not you. Not you. You're out. You're okay. Okay? So, anyway, Loki. I guess he's Loki. You all know Loki. But anyway, I digress. I wanted to say to all of you again how much I appreciate you spending time with me today. And I am so glad to see all of you. I've missed you, and I'm sorry that I was away so long. Life kind of got in the way, and I had to focus on reestablishing myself professionally. I had to get a new job, and I did. And so now the dust has settled and I'm back. So I really appreciate you. And I'm so sorry that I was gone for so long. And I hope to see you again. And we'll have another interesting discussion. Yeah, Scout, Loki can't help himself. We'll have another interesting discussion next weekend. We have so many topics. It'll be amazing. I'd like to continue talking about the spiritual things that we were talking about the demonic angels, demons, that kind of thing. And of course, all of the other topics in the mental health realm, relationships, anything. I'm always open to suggestions, so message me, and I will do a topic. If you have a suggestion, I would be happy to, okay? So love and light to all of you, and I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful evening, okay? Bye. Thank you.